Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Sam Dever Podcast, episode 63. In this episode, I speak with actor and filmmaker Bobby Slaski. I met Bobby when I moved out here to Los Angeles over 5 years ago through the acting community, and we had a great conversation. Bobby is so much fun to watch on stage in his films, and it was a pleasure to be able to talk to him, to talk about his craft, and to learn more about him, and I'm really excited for you to listen to our conversation. The book of the episode is going to be The Effective Executive by Peter Drucker. This one is an old one, came out decades and decades ago, but it's just good, practical business advice. Whether you're running a business, you're in a job, or just trying to run your life in an organized way, it's a really good read. Again, it's called The Effective Executive by Peter Drucker. If you want to listen to the podcast, follow us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. If you want to watch this podcast, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/@thesamdeverpodcast. Here's my conversation with Bobby. Bobby Slaski, welcome to the Sam Dever Podcast.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
I got caught up on my welcome for whatever reason that was.
Put a little emphasis on it.
Slaski or Slaski? I think that's
Slaski. No H. Yeah.
No H. So Bobby Slaski.
And then I at the end. Most call sheets have a Y. I even did a movie where in the opening credits they spelled it with a Y. And I went, stay humble, kids. This is good for me. This is good when they misspell it. I like that. Yeah.
I don't know if you remember this, but we were in the first beginning class when you went to your first night class at Playhouse.
Friday night.
We were in a class together for maybe it was 2 nights, maybe, or 3 nights.
Yeah, because then I got cast in a play. I did The Mousetrap, again, with the British, that was the first British attempt, and that rehearsed at night and ran on like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, so I had to switch to day classes. But yeah, we were in that class for 2 weeks with Chris Leby, I think, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, Friday nights.
Yeah.
Were you in Wolf's Tuesday night class too?
I don't know. I switched to both days. So eventually I had Monday, or I forget the days, but mornings with Holly and Wolf. But then we rehearsed at your old place because I still remember rehearsing in the little common area.
The conference room of my old place in Sherman Oaks.
Yeah.
And I remember, because you remember when you're first in beginning there and they tell you from the get-go, you have to rehearse.
Yeah.
You better rehearse. And that's still what we really don't, no one knows each other yet or anything. Yeah. And I remember we just connected on the group here. So I'm like, hey man, do you want to rehearse?
Why not? You find someone else who wants to say you're wearing a blue shirt. I'll hook up with them. Yeah.
Exactly.
I rehearse way more now than in beginning because it's way more exciting. You're not just getting there and repeating and like, okay. And also those beginner rehearsals, I mean, how much of it is just talking and just, which is good. You form a community and
I came to your place in Los Feliz.
Yeah. We had a big rehearsal there.
Yeah.
Last time that happened.
Yeah.
I didn't like that many people in my house. That was too many. But there's some fun about that. I rehearsed with Ford, his place in Los Feliz and everything.
Yep.
Juggling out his driveway, and someone starts crying about So all right, the weirdest beginner rehearsal I ever had. I forget the guy's name, but it was in K-Town, and he was sawing through like a rope with a butter knife. And like going to town on it,
like really trying to saw it up.
Like sweating, like his hand was getting blistered, and he was just going at him. I'm like, I'm new to beginner. I'm like, I don't know what's happening right now. I'm like, all right, like you're really going to town. He's like, I'm really going to town. And then he eventually saws through it. He gets up, gives me a big hug, and goes, my girlfriend was gonna have an abortion. And I went, what the fuck am I doing? I was just like, this is the weirdest shit ever. But he got so into it. I guess that was his, reason for sawing this rope in half. And he was super, super into it. Noon on a Wednesday or something. I was like, all right, cool, man. I'm gonna head out.
It was funny. I was at the One Acts this past weekend. Brilliant job, by the way.
Thanks, man. Thanks for
both
coming.
Of yours. Yeah.
Thanks for coming. Yeah.
Shout out to you and Eric Sarich, who were both in it.
Great.
Amazing performances.
Partner.
I was talking to some guys that are coming up the ranks. I don't know if they were in beginner or about to get to intermediate. And we were talking to them like, man, you will be amazed at what junk you will find in your house when you've run out of all ideas for doors and activities.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't think I can come up with anything else. And then literally 10 minutes before class, I'm like, wait a minute. if I can peel the label off this bottle like this, you know,
with some chopsticks or something,
I can save the world.
Yeah.
You know, I'm exaggerating.
Did
but
you have go-to activities? I had like
cleaning?
Cleaning?
Yeah.
Okay. I had like 2 or 3 I kept in rep, so they wouldn't pick up that I was bringing the same thing in, but they were like really, really good ones. Like one was a baseball glove that I unlaced, and like if you ever try to relace a baseball glove, it's a nightmare. I had that one. I had one where I had a 90-page script printed out with just scene numbers but no page numbers, and to try to reorganize those.
That's a good one.
That's a good one. That's a really good one. But the first time I brought it in, like, you know, Holly was always like, you know, start it at home and then, you know, so you're already into it. I was like, all right, so I was following instructions. So like some of it was already sorted and everything like that. So like I bring it in, I put it on the table with all the work I'd already done. And she just gets up out of her seat, comes on the stage, and just wipes it all off the table, and all goes flying. I guess to make me a little more aggravated about it, or whatever it might be. But that's a good one too. Yeah, I think they might still be in my trunk because you never know.
Oh yeah, and I know I'm somewhere either in the closet or in the garage. Yeah, I have a full bag.
Yeah,
my activity bag of like everything.
Yeah,
I had screwdrivers and just. Cleaning was always my thing because it was just something that I know I could get into
and
it
you
was
could
very
do
hard.
it. Yeah, you could actually do it. Yeah,
yeah.
That's always
you
nice.
could achieve it technically.
You could. That's and it makes you feel comfortable when you're doing something. That's probably why they have you do it, right? Because you're actually doing something. You know,
Yeah.
I feel the same way about eating on stage. I love eating on stage because there's no way to fake eating. Like you have to eat. You know, so like when you're eating on stage, that's when I immediately relax. I'm like, oh, okay, I know how to do this.
Now we're getting to the good stuff.
This makes sense.
I was talking the 2 guys I was talking to, and I'd tell this with him right here, Wolf. One time I get up there because you prepare your activity all week. You're like, all right, I'm gonna, especially in those early stages when
it's your whole life.
You know, as you get to that deep meaning, things are going smooth till you get to deep meaning.
Yeah.
But then when I got to deep meaning and I'm up there and I don't know how long I was doing it. It wasn't that long. And Wolf's like, what's going on here? And I'm like, and I told him I can't remember what it was. He's like, we're going to stop this now. And he goes, go back, rework this and bring it back next week. So you just, okay.
Yep. And then you go sit down. You worked for 2 minutes and you had a whole week leading up to it. And you had 2 minutes and it gets stopped. Yeah, man, that's brutal. I mean, I liked when we got to deep meaning because finally all this screaming and yelling actually made sense. I mean,
right.
I remember, man, I went to one beginner rehearsal recently, or like, I don't know, within the past year. I don't know. I'm not sure why I went, but I got invited. I was like, it might be good to work on some doors and activities. And, they're coming over for a cup of sugar and their, whatever, laptop charger. And they're, fuck you. And they all followed the same. And I did it. We're all guilty of this, right? You get, F you. You get kicked out. The door slams. There's about 4 seconds of silence. And then it's like, Trent, I'm sorry, from the other side of the door. He was just like, weren't you guys just screaming at each other, wanting to kill each other? But that's every beginner exercise. It's like you kind of got to go through it. You got to,
And for all those listening or watching, we're talking about, we both went to Playhouse West. You still go to Playhouse West. I'm currently not in class right now, but like to...
Always a part of it.
You're always a part and like to check all you guys performing. And we're talking about doors and activities.
Yeah, the cornerstone of the Meisner technique, which are great. I love them. You still do them to, find some life in the scene and everything when needed. But yeah, those, I like how they evolve. Because I was a beginner for... over a year, easily over a year.
Yeah.
Because I didn't like screaming that much. Maybe that's not the reason. Well, that's the reason I told myself.
I had to train myself to become on Zen.
Yeah.
Like I was pretty calm, cool, and collected, and then I'm like, well, wait a minute, I gotta get upset at everything.
I remember. I think the first time you got upset in class, it was scary as shit. It's terrifying.
It took a long time, but then finally it happened, and then they're like, great work.
I know, and then you're like, that's great. All right. And then you have to. I mean, it's great, and then. As you get on, you realize they're doing it to kind of break you out of your shell and everything, which so many of us need. I certainly need it and everything. And then you go on, and I hate screaming in plays. I hate plays that are just screaming and yelling. I can't stand it. It becomes white noise and everything like that. So you realize there's much more to acting than screaming and yelling and crying. Yeah. That doesn't qualify a good performance. Necessarily. But when you're a beginner and you're just trying to get it all out there and feel things, it's like, do all that. Do all that. Why not? But then you got to kind of grow up a little bit and realize what it's all about.
Well,
That's not it.
Well, yeah, and you know, you say performance. I mean, you watched you this weekend. Amazing. Saw you in the baby dance.
Hey,
That was incredible.
yeah.
Nick Checkett's play. It has escaped me. What is the name
Lucky
of it?
Seats.
Lucky Seats.
I love that show.
That one. That was incredible.
I
And
love
it's like,
that show.
I was describing to someone your work, man, and on stage. Well, you both will get to film here
Sure.
and during this, but
Yeah.
on stage, man, I realized you just have such a freedom.
Yeah.
I feel like
Thanks.
you just have such a freedom, and whatever role or character you're in, man, you're just totally in it. I don't know. You have a really. You're very fun to watch.
Thank you.
You're very
Well,
fun to watch.
That's better
Yeah.
than the alternative. It is free up there, right? Because on film and everything, you got. I mean, unless it's a really wide shot, you got your frame. You know, that's it. You can move. There's huge benefits to both and everything. But yeah, I think when you're up there, man, it's only. There's no takes. You're kind of just going for it, especially when you have good partners. That changes everything. When you have partners that are going to roll with you through whatever, especially you like Lucky Seats, right? That was an original comedy. And, when Wolf hit me up and one of my students wrote a one act, I'm like, oh boy. That's
Shout out to Nick Checkett and Melanie Thompson, who were both in that.
the best. I would do that in a heartbeat. But, I thought it was going to be this, okay, student wrote a one act. It's going to be this heavy, dramatic, like gut-wrenching thing. And I read it, and in the opening scene, the guy takes a shit on stage. I'm like, this is fun. Like, this is not what I thought it was going to be. And I read it, and it was great. It was so much fun. It had heart and everything like that. And but since it was original, right, we would tweak it every once in a while, or you think of something funnier than what's in there. And Nick was like, yeah, of course, say it. And that's where my brain goes. So he's like, oh, okay, I'm a little extra here. What if I do this? And I can only do that because Melanie, who I was on stage with 90% of the time, was so good at just rolling with everything. Like, I never felt like we got derailed. It was always wherever it went, like we'd get back to it. You know, it's the same with the one acts this week and anything with Thomas. I just felt like us bullshitting on stage because you trust him so much, and you're like, even if we are lost, which we never got lost, but like it's so free and fun. So that all comes from having a good partner that you trust in, because then you're like, because then I can be, because then the pressure's not on me. I'm up there with someone. It doesn't matter. That's a very nice observation. Like you're saying that, I have fun up there. I hope that, especially in something like Now Departing or Lucky Seats, where it's like, it's a comedy, especially Now Departing, where it's a, buddy comedy and everything. It's like, that's what comes there. If we're having fun, they're going to have fun. If we're thinking about everything we're doing and we're, nervous about this, that, the other thing, then the audience is going to get nervous. In my experience, you want to watch professionals. The same when you go see stand-up comedy or something. If someone's bombing, but they know they're bombing and they acknowledge it and everything, the audience is kind of like, all right, whatever. But when you see someone bombing and they start to get nervous, that's when the audience goes, this is uncomfortable. We just want to, or me, I want to watch professionals up there. I want to watch people that know what they're doing. And you have faith that, all those awkward pauses are supposed to be there. And, I'm not nervous that they're going to achieve what they're trying to do up there. So, that's just hopefully what I go for, that people have faith in me when I get on there, that like, yeah, this is okay. We're in good hands, hopefully, and hopefully there will be some entertainment, striving for that. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. And, very well said. And, I'm not to the level of what you're at, but I being on stage a few times. Well, right. But it's like, I have been on stage enough to understand.
Sure. Yeah.
Like you prepare so much, but then once you go up there, there's no more preparing and just trusting. It's almost like knowing that your parachute's going to open.
Yeah.
That's what you're reminding me of when you're talking. Like, all right, I've done all I can do. Now it's time to jump.
No, it's time to have fun. Yeah.
Sometimes we're going to go this way. Sometimes we're going to go that way. But eventually we're going to land that thing.
Sure. Yeah. And if you're close with your partner and you have good chemistry and everything, it's like, especially with a one act, you go, if this sucks, it's over in 30 minutes. Yeah.
At least it's not 2 hours.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. At least it's not the whole thing. And it's like, sometimes like Harvest Time, we brought that
was
in.
So funny.
What a fun show, man. And Keegan's so good. And Lisa stepped in. It was absolutely amazing. The writing is so good in it. And Keegan kills it. But we were working on that. And, we're doing it in class. We're getting laughs and everything like that because it's your friends and it's fun. And Holly's like, bring it to one of my beginning classes. It was beginning or intermediate. Like, bring it to one of my other classes.
Yeah.
So like we can see it with so we bring it in. It was silent. Just silent.
Really?
Like throughout the like maybe a few chuckles, but just like silent. And it was such a bonding experience because we both had such faith in the show. And we're like, we know this is funny. Like, so if they're not laughing, they can go screw themselves. Like, if you're not laughing, you're missing out on some entertainment. Like if you don't like this, because we're pretty sure this is good. It's nice to have confidence in what you're doing and confidence in the show, and it doesn't happen all the time. But when you have it, oh, it's so free because you're like, yeah, the audience doesn't like it. Well, that's not my fault. That's not on me. Yeah, but that was a nice bonding experience to have between the two of us, just because we were just drowning up there, and it's like, well, we just got each other, so like we might as well have fun for us while we're doing it, because clearly they don't like it. So let's have a good time.
Did you guys make any adjustments after that experience, or is it like, we're just gonna keep going the way we're going with it?
It definitely changed after that. I wouldn't say because of that, but it definitely, just the nature of doing it. Actually, with both of those one acts, if anything, they became less polished and more devolved, and that's actually what made them better, in my opinion. Like I think before we were very, trying to hit every joke and trying to hit every line, and then it's like, we're brothers, we talk over each other. It gets messy. It goes this way, it goes that way. You don't know where it's going. That's part of the fun of it. So like, actually, as we got more comfortable, it devolved way more, and like, but to the point where it got better. And like, back to what we were saying before, you hope the parachute opens, and you hope the audience has faith in you. Like, I hope the way it came, even though it was devolved and messy, I hope it still seemed professional. And judged by the audience reaction, it seemed like it because they were enjoying it. So it's like, trust me, we know every line of that play, but it's like, we're going to stumble over them. We're going to talk over each other, just because that's the way it comes out. But if we wanted to, we could do it straight. But why?
Well, and also, like, what I love about theater, too, not only when you see actors such as yourself live it out, but just the writing.
Yeah, the writing.
The writing. Like, it just to see the two, like, you really get an appreciation for both the actor and the writer.
Yeah.
And of course, the director and everything. It really is this, like, it's just not a one person. Like, it's multiple things. But when everyone's doing what their job is, it's really beautiful how it all comes together.
Theater is so ensemble, like more than anything, right? Because I mean, it's definitely not a director's medium. That's certainly screen is the director's medium, right? They get to make everything inside that frame. They get to direct it, because you get to call cut and go again. They can really tweak it. I mean, directors in theater, how much trust do you have to go, all right, and now they're gonna go up, and I can't stop them, and like, they can do whatever they want, honestly. I can't stop it, right? So it's definitely, it's a writer's medium for sure, because you get to write these beautiful long scenes that go this way, that way, the other thing. And definitely an actor's medium, because you get to go from start to finish and, talk about not having to think of anything except for when you're walking on stage, or maybe it's a scene change. You have to remember where you came from. Man, when you're up there, you're not thinking about anything because you're up there. Everything's happening. Everything's happening currently. I don't have to think about like, oh, okay, we're in scene 42. What happened in 41? Okay, 41. I was running down this hallway.
Right.
I was pretty out of breath by this. So I got to come into this out of breath. It's like, you don't have to think about it. You're just up there, and whatever's happening is happening. And I think that's so fun. So fun. Doesn't pay, but it's so fun.
I've quoted it on this show before, but if you want to be famous, do movies. If you want to be rich, do television.
Be good, do theater.
Yep. There you go.
Absolutely.
Now, did you fall into, taking it back a little bit, did you fall into theater first before film? Or how?
Yeah, I wasn't a Gerber baby. No one was filming me when I was a kid. I did, the school plays and everything growing up and all that stuff. And they're all comedies mostly, because why make kids do Death of a Salesman? That's not fun.
Long day's journey into night.
That's not going to be a good time. No one's going to enjoy that. Although my junior year of high school, we did Cat on a Hot Tin Roof. I played Brick in that, and making high schoolers do that is unkind to every audience member.
The author escapes me. Oh my gosh, he wrote like tons of stuff.
Yep, no, it escapes me too, because but yeah, we did that junior year, and actually, I mean, so you shouldn't make high schoolers do that. But that being said, like, I did it, and that was actually the first time. I remember after the shows, that was the first time my parents went like, "Is this something you want to do?" Like, because you were all right up there.
Like, pursue it.
Yeah, like, is this something you're interested in more than just doing the school play once a year? Or I worked at a improv and sketch comedy camps over the summer. Like, that was their first indication of like, is this more? Do you want to do more with this? And I always knew I wanted to, but you grow up in New Jersey with, parents like, that's not what happens. It's not a real career. So that was the first. Honestly, if they didn't say that, I might have just kept my mouth shut forever. So good on them for noticing
so they were
something.
supportive then from the beginning. Like
Yeah, they said, it sounds mean now, but they said, we'll support you, but never encourage you. I went, that's good enough. I don't need any encouragement. It's okay.
No, that's huge. Like you just need. I just need you not to put me down.
Yeah, not to shame me every second. Yeah. Now they thought along with that was going to come college. That didn't necessarily happen. It happened kind of, but 30 units of non-transferable college credits. Called it a day. So that's probably enough for me.
Off to LA. No.
Yep. All right, that's good enough. So when that was happening, and I was living down in Orange County, and working a real job, that was a little more.
What part of Orange County were you in?
I was in Costa Mesa, Huntington Beach.
Nice. I was down there today, Newport area.
Really? Yeah. Doing what?
For work. I was
okay.
down there. Yeah.
Yeah. It's I was down in that little triangle for 5 years before I moved up here. Because when you're from Jersey, you don't know the difference between Orange
County. You said 5 years you were down there?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I was down there for 5 years. I moved out there when I was 18.
Wow.
Did community college for about 2 years, 30 units of non-transferable credits. And then I went to see a counselor, after that, and they're like, you've done nothing in 2 years, essentially. Like, what classes were you taking? I was like, I don't know, like in the Shakespeare class and stuff like that. And they're like, yeah, none of this counts. I was like, all right, I'm not going to pursue this. But yeah, I was down there, and then I got a real job, worked in an office for about 3 years, I'd say. Enough to realize that's not what I want to do.
Not what you want to do. Yeah.
Yep. Enough to realize that's not going to happen. Gave them pretty much, I gave myself a year notice. I gave them a 6-month notice. But that final year, I was working in that office, and I would drive up to LA and audition for non-paid student films. New York Film Academy, UCLA, all of them.
Everybody.
I think I've done a short film for every college up here at this point. And then drive back. And like, there is nothing worse when you're bad at acting and don't know what you're doing, and you're in a car for 2 hours.
I know that 5 freeway well.
Yeah.
Or 405.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Either or, yeah. And then you're in the room for 5 minutes and you suck. And then you drive back 2 hours. So the whole time there, you're thinking about it. You do it, you're terrible. And the whole time driving back, you're going, I am awful at this. And like, it's just too much time thinking in the car. So I was making excuses to my job. I had so many plumbing issues that year to go out to the auditions and stuff.
Yeah.
But I wanted to get, some footage and stuff for when I got up here. So when I actually moved up here, I had a little,
Yeah, you're coming with something, yeah.
Yeah, a little step up. So that was, I'm so glad I don't have to do that anymore. And now we don't have to drive anywhere for auditions. So it's fully back to it. Yeah, but that was a long year. So then eventually moved up here in 2018, I want to say, because that's when you came out here too. Yeah.
It's crazy because Eric, you moved here in 2018, right? Or
we're in beginner too together.
Yeah.
Or at least some classes overlap.
Yeah. Around 2018, yeah. Maybe end of 2017.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, so that's when I moved here too. Like that's when
crazy.
We all connect.
The fact that we're all still here is baffling.
Yeah, that's beating the statistics right there.
That's kind of crazy, honestly.
So you moved here.
Yeah.
And did you know you were going to Playhouse, or did you just?
No. I took some acting classes down in Orange County. This place called Actors Studio of Orange County. And they were Meisner based, kind of. And so when I told them, I told them, I think before anyone, I was going up to LA, and I was like, do you have any schools I can check out? And Playhouse West was one of them that they suggested. I think I held off my audit for like 2 or 3 months because I was so scared to show up. I did not want to go. It was scary. And then, audit one class. I was like, all right, sure. Let me give this a shot. So pretty much right when I got out here, I enrolled in Playhouse West. Yeah, it's a good call.
Yeah, I think it worked out for you.
That school lets you do anything you want in the best way possible. Do you know how expensive it is to rent a theater to put on a play?
I don't know exactly, but I've heard it's expensive. Like,
how anyone makes money here doing theater, if you don't own the space, is baffling.
Yeah, because I've heard people that have talked about, we're going to take our show here and here, but then they started to investigate.
No, you're not. No, you're not. You're just not. So the fact that they let us use the theater is crazy. And I feel
it's a huge value.
Huge. And I feel like such an underrated value. Like, I don't know any other school that lets you put on shows at a whim. Like, if you can get the people together and do it, like all kind of driven by the students and what you guys want to do. And like, yes, you need a teacher to direct it.
Yeah.
You want a teacher to direct. You want someone to direct it. I mean, actors we're not directors. We'll go up there and we'll do whatever we want. And it's like, we're not going to make the best show just on our own. You need a director. Or at least I do. Because I'll be like, oh yeah, it's a really good idea. And then no, it's not. The director typically 80% of the time has a better idea than me. Yeah, that's such an underrated part of the school, being able to put on shows with a built-in audience.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Well, because, if you put on a show at any random
Who's
other
showing
theater,
up?
you got to do a lot of marketing and promotion.
A lot of marketing. Who goes?
Get people
unless
to
it's
come to
like an established theater like the Geffen or, a Noise Within or something like that has subscribers. Who's going? Who is going? We did... Yeah, one of the first plays I did, or the first play I did here, The Mousetrap. That was the one I had to switch out of the classes for.
Oh, okay.
That ran for, I think, 9 months or something like 9 or 10
9 months. Wow.
People kept showing up.
Wow.
No idea who these people were. That was interesting because, like, everyone, the whole cast was talking. We're like, everyone we invited came in the first 2 months.
2 months,
like,
yeah.
who are these people? And the people just kept on showing up every weekend. But, man, you do a show for 9 months. I know everyone's lines, like, to try to, really got to remind yourself every night, like, they haven't seen it, because I know every inch of this show. I could do it myself. But you need to remind yourself, like, oh, okay, they haven't seen it, and so it's my job to put on the best show possible and tell this story the best way I can tonight.
When you get to that point in the work, are you just experimenting? Like you it so well, you're like, let me try this tonight.
Some night, try to not do it for the, you gotta keep it fresh for yourself, but without, taking away from the integrity of the show. Like, because then that's when it just becomes kind of selfish.
Right.
When people are like, I've never really been that way. And again, this is all my opinion, so it's right and wrong. Who gives a shit? When people are like, I'm gonna switch it up tonight. I'm gonna do this weird other thing, and you're like, "Why? Like, does it help the show? Is it gonna help, or do you just want to do this thing?" There's a big difference between that, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
One is pretty selfish. One can be exploratory and great, but also then do that in rehearsal. Like, bring it into rehearsal, see if it works. But like, to just change stuff for the sake of changing stuff seems odd. I do it in rehearsal all the time because you try stuff. And you're like, oh, that doesn't work at all. My rehearsals are terrible. It's the time to be terrible. Class is the time to be terrible because we're paying to be there. It's my time. I'll be terrible if I want. I'll try this weird thing. But then when people are paying me to do it, I better be good because they're paying me to do it.
It's a job.
So let me be bad when I'm paying to be there, or in rehearsal when no one's watching. That's when I'll be bad. And that's when I'll try weird. And some of it sticks, and some of it you go, that's never going to see the light of day. As it shouldn't. But I've never really been one to be like, I'm going to just do something different to entertain myself. Unless it makes sense. If it makes sense, great. But if it's solely for me and not for the show, like, you got to take a look at that then.
There's this moment in Lucky Seats. I don't know if it was the genius of Wolf that timed this, or you. I'm this is totally
Probably
out of context.
Probably Wolf.
But there was dead silence, and it was an awkward moment. And then you're eating a bag of chips, and you just hear.
I brought in a bag, or
So that wasn't planned. That was you just spontaneously brought a bag of chips, or.
All right, there was supposed to be a crafty table in the green room, so like there was food there, and I already told you I love to eat on stage, so like. Yeah. I know Nick was supposed to have this big long monologue, and I think the first time I did
what it was.
yeah, he was supposed to have like this heartfelt monologue, which we kind of stole it in Harvest Time too, when I'm speaking and he's eating the chips.
Yeah.
So we threw that in because he's like, I want to bring a bag of chips. I was like, when I'm doing this, start eating them. You know, it's an old trick, but it fucking works. I know it works because we did it.
It's hilarious.
I was like, and chew it really loud. But yeah, I think the first time I did that, I had some kind of carbonated drink, which I don't really like to drink, but I think it was an energy drink or something. And like he was doing it, and like my character was. So like I just burped in the middle of him doing it. Wolf was like, "That's great, keep it." And I go, "I can't, I can't burp on command. Like I can't do that." So I'm like, but I like the idea of that. So I was like, "Oh, chips." I was like, "What if I grab this bag of chips while he's talking, not give a shit?" You know, the first one is not noticing, and then he stops, and then it's like, "Oh, that was loud." So then the next one's even better because, you know, when you're trying to be quiet with a bag of chips and it's way louder because you're trying to be quiet.
You might as well just do it quick and rip
Exactly.
the
You might as well just go for it, but then it's like the and like, you know, you're being loud. So you're like, oh, and then slowly you're like, I'm gonna get away with it, and it's way louder than the first one.
I've tried to do it with an apple, and there's no quiet way to eat an apple.
No,
either.
there's not. But yeah, you get some nice pita chips or like some Ruffles, and like really, that's a that's a good gag. That's a good gag. That one will play anytime when someone's giving a serious talk, and you want to just undercut it. Give someone a bag of chips.
Now I'm gonna lose it whenever I hear someone eating chips.
Yeah. Give them a bag of chips and have them chow down because that shit's funny and it will continue to be funny to me.
There's some things that are just funny, man. And eating a bag of chips loud, getting hit in the nuts is funny.
Yeah,
like
getting hit in the nuts is always funny. Yeah.
like it's just
burps are good at opportune times. Like Keegan in Harvest Time is drinking LaCroix the whole time, so he's just constantly burping the whole time. It's like the more you can do it, if that's your guy, sure, have at it. Like, It's funny. It's funny, especially when I'm trying to be all serious. It's like, undercut it. Like, undercut it. I don't need this big moment. Like, take it away from me. That's the whole point, you know?
And for you to stay in that energy.
Yeah.
Like letting it pinch you and get frustrated.
Well, yeah, that's a bit of showmanship because it's like, I can hear him. Like, so in reality, I'd turn and be like, what the fuck are you doing? But it's not I tried that and it wasn't as funny. It's like, oh, okay, suspend a little reality here. Stay looking this way. Stay so into what I'm saying. Whatever he's doing does not matter because that's more fun for the audience. So you kind of, a little bit of showmanship, which we all need to do sometimes.
Yeah.
It's not real. We're on stage.
People are coming to watch.
People are coming to watch a show and be entertained. So if you got to do it, but it's not what I would really do. It's like, sorry, buddy. Like, we're putting on a show here. Like, we strive to be as real as possible, but something, tweak it a little bit. Tweak it. I did a movie once where the director was great, chill guy, and he gave me the best justification because sometimes you get justification on movie sets where like you ask for it because they're like, all right, and then you step out of the trailer and then look this way for a little bit, and then go that way. And I was like, why am I looking that way? What am I looking for? He's like, because it's a movie and the light looks good when you look that way. And I went, all right, works for me. Like, you don't need to come up with this big thing sometimes. Like, your jawline's going to look fucking sick if you look that way. And it's a cool shot. And like, sign me up. All right.
It's funny you say that because one thing I've learned from directors is trust them. Yeah. Like, because it's like when you've done I want to get to your filmmaking here in a sec, but like when you've done your own projects before and then when you go on someone else's, you have that impulse of like, are you sure you want to do it that way? Because what if they're just like, no, trust me, don't, it looks good like this. Like,
yeah, I need to squash that sometimes because it's hard to turn off that part of your brain. And it's a lot easier if you trust them. Trust me, it's a lot easier if you're like, oh man, the set works great. This guy knows how to tell a story. Every time we talk about something, he's might not have all the answers, but we have intelligent conversations about it. I don't need all the answers, but like, if we gotta quit, let's at least talk about it and let's figure it out a little bit. And then not everyone's a great director. And sometimes you're like, all right, on my own here on this one. Okay. Interesting.
Let's bring that training in.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to have to kind of police myself a little bit here. And, you sure you want to? Yeah. All right. Yeah. We'll get a master and then we'll get your single. And we don't need his single. We got it in the master. And I'm like, you sure you want to cut from my single to a master? It's like a 5-minute scene. We can punch in. is that really going to work? I've tried to punch in post. Never looks that good. You know, you can always tell. I can always tell. I hate punching in. I can always tell that it's from the same angle as either the over shoulder or the wide. And I go, if you just schedule it a little better. I get sometimes you got to do it, like if your hands are tied, but like, no, you can't just punch in from the master. It's a bad idea.
It's better to in my experience, has been better to overshoot. You can overshoot too much.
You can overshoot,
but I would rather. There's a lot of times I would rather have it than not have it, because I can't tell you how many times in something I've done where I may have used 0.5 to 1 second of it, but it's the 0.5 of 1 second that totally made it flow.
Yeah. Glad you had it. Yeah, glad.
It can totally change the entire...
Glued that little moment together.
Yeah.
When you just,
exactly.
Absolutely. No, but you can...
Yeah.
Yeah, overcover's one thing. What I get more frustrated with is overshooting one angle to the detriment of, like, you know, doing 3 or 4 masters. And then, I just wrapped a film, what was it, a month ago or something like that. Still recovering from the poison ivy.
Oh my gosh.
It's fine. But yeah, man, we had one, you know, the final scene of the movie. It's me and the antagonist. It's like a 8-page scene. You know, it's where everything gets revealed. It's the big thing. Shoot like 3 masters. They do his coverage first. 1 take of the 7 pin. Luckily, he's a talented actor. You know, had these 7 good to go. You know, and he did it well. And all right, let's flip it around. And I go, yeah, I'm only getting 1 take at this, you know, and thank God we got 3 masters, you know, thank God they got those to cut to, but when, it's so limiting when you only get 1 of your, you know, because then I tend to play it safe, because you're like,
you know, that's the only one.
Yeah, this is the only one, man. I don't want to do something, you know, that's completely not going to work, but maybe I want to try, maybe I thought about it, and like, you know, but at least in my experience, I tend to play it a little safe when I'm only getting 1, and it's like, it's not as fun, but it's also not my fault. Like that's bad. That's bad filmmaking to the detriment of actors when you're doing that and you only leave time for one close up or even just 1 coverage, not even a close up, just medium shot of the end of your movie. It's like, all right, you don't care as much as I do, clearly. This is the end of your movie. Like, all right, sure. That's kind of when you have to shut your mouth, because everyone's trying to do a good job.
Yeah.
But sometimes you go, that sucks. That sucks. Oh, well.
And what got you into film? Like, what began, because you were doing acting, obviously, but what got you to making your own films?
Oh,
when did that journey begin?
Interesting. So,
and I'll preface that because I've seen some of your films, man, and it was incredible.
Oh, thanks.
I saw the one. These are both at the Playhouse West Film Festival. The one where you and I believe might have been just 2 people in it, like the drug one, and like there were pictures of the fan, like.
Meeting across the pictures of the fan.
The cinematographer was getting like cool angles of the fan shots. It was like in a apartment. You get shot at the end.
Yeah, Meeting Across the Hills. That was the first one I made. Yeah,
that one, and then I saw at the Playhouse West Film Festival the one with the audition with you and the girl.
Groups of 2. That one's fun. That one's a cute one. That one was for my mom because she was mad I die and everything.
Oh,
I always wrote, like, even as a kid. This is gonna sound like the most pretentious thing. Even as a kid, you know, my brain works kind of in words, so I'm not good at doodling. Like whenever I doodle, I get frustrated because I'm like, that's not what's in my head. It doesn't work that way. But I write, like, and I would always just write little stories or write like in the margins and stuff, because that's the way my brain works. It works in, you know, written stories and everything like that. So I would write when I was working in that office job. I would just write little scripts and everything like that. And then that first one I wrote, I didn't even really know I wanted to make them. Well, I made like sketch comedy videos with my roommates down in Orange County. We did like 20 of them. And that was so fun. Like I'd write those kind of, but then it was just me and my buddies having fun. But like I watch them every once in a while. I go, the fundamentals are there. Like I'm not jumping the line or anything. I'm getting coverage. Like it probably taught me how to edit without even thinking about it in the most low stakes situation ever. And we were just making what we wanted to make. But I was watching, I was like, that edit actually kind of works. I was not thinking about anything, you know, and came out all right. But then I moved up here, and yeah, the first thing I really wrote that I wanted to shoot was, Meeting Across the Hills, which is based on a Springsteen song, Meeting Across the River, because the first line is, "Hey, Eddie, could you lend me a few bucks, and tonight can you get us a ride?" And I was like, oh, there's some characters there. Who's Eddie? Why do they need money? Where are they going? What are they paying for? Like, and even when I get stuck now, I'll write scripts based on songs, because I love songs that are stories, or ballads, as my friend calls them. And I love expanding them and adding stuff, but it's like all the bases are there, and it's just in a different way. And so I wrote that, and I got this director, because I didn't think I could direct, who shot a previous short film that I worked on. We liked each other, and I gave him the script. I was like, "Would you want to shoot it?" He's like, "Yeah, of course." And it was a very expensive learning process, because when people tell you you need stuff, you're like, "Yeah, I guess we need it. I've never made a movie before. I guess we need all that." You don't. You don't need it, actually. But yeah, that was over like 4 days, and man, that was, the greatest 4 days. And I remember the difference between me and that guy, and I love him. He's such a good director, but afterward he's like, "Whew, I need a break." And I was like, I want to do that all again. That was so fun.
Where did you shoot it at? Where was it at?
My apartment in Los Feliz was the apartment. Nick Osborne was, he lent us the apartment for the gun dealer.
Wow.
Some stuff in a car, and then the motel at the end. I just visited every motel in the valley, essentially, and just because we wanted one with a hallway, which was tough because most of them are outdoors. But yeah, I just went to pretty much every motel with a hallway. I was like, "Hey, can we film here, for $500?" And smart ones are like, "Yeah, of course." Yeah. That's how I found most of my locations. For the one of the laundromat cycle, visited every seedy laundromat in Van Nuys till eventually one was like...
I've used a laundromat in Van Nuys. Actually.
So fun, yeah. Sherman Way Laundry? Did we use the same one?
No, it wasn't Sherman Way Laundry.
We'll go there. They were very receptive, actually. They were very great about it, man. They left us alone overnight. They were just like, "Here's the keys. We'll see you in the morning."
Wow.
It's awesome. So fun.
So a real quick question about... So there are a lot of people here in like the Valley or LA in general that are pretty open to letting... You
have to get out of LA. Yeah, you gotta.
So the more the valley.
More in the valley. The deeper you go, the better. Although one time I was not scouting. I think me and maybe Sean and Dan were gonna shoot something. We needed a motel room. And I was like, "I found a motel before. I'll go find another one. This will be easy." So I was visiting shady motels in the valley again, and I get to one. And he's like, "Yeah, I think we'd be able to do that. Like, write down your information and I'll let you know." I was like, "Okay." So I'm writing it down. He's like, "Is it porn?" I was like, "Oh, no, just a short film." He's like, "Oh, okay." He's like, "They shoot a lot of porn up here." I was like, "Oh, okay. It's not, but okay." And I just keep on writing. I was silent again. He goes, "My cousin's in porn." I was like, "All right, man. That's great. It's not, but I'm not coming back here, but
I can get you in."
Yeah, I was like, he really wanted to relate over this one topic. That's not what I was interested in.
That's funny.
Okay. Sure. So yeah, you run into a few hiccups along the way, but
he just kept on wanting to tell you.
Yeah, he's like really wanted to either get me into it or get his cousin into the movie. I'm not sure what he wanted to do, but yeah, generally if you find, just ask for the owner, and smart ones realize if their business is closed or just some stuff on the side, if you don't want to deal with permits and stuff, which I don't have the money for, it's like some people will deal in cash, and you just got to be a little. It's got to be a little, a little under the table about it, And
shout out to the San Fernando Valley.
Yeah, really great for finding shady locations, which most of my
helping
stuff...
filmmakers, you know?
Really. I mean, because that laundromat, it was great. We found them, and we were going to shoot overnight, and I found one that closed at like 7, because I was like, "Oh, they're not open overnight anyway, so this is free money for them, And they didn't speak English. I didn't speak Spanish, but their 5-year-old daughter spoke both. So when you tell a 5-year-old $500, their eyes light up. So she was
the broker.
Best salesman. The best salesman. She's like, "Well," she got so excited that like the parents got excited, and I was like, "All right, cool." And yeah, they shut it down. They're like, "All right, we'll see you at 7 in the morning," and just left us to film our...
What time did you go in?
I think we got there at 7, so it was 12 hours, 7 to 7. I personally, I'm in the minority in this. I like overnight shoots, not consistently. I like them from an acting standpoint because people think less. I think people give way better performances overnight.
Really?
Yeah, they're not thinking. They just, because they're so tired. They just, not tired to the point where like you're like, ugh, and just boring, right. But like, I feel like that part of their brain that wants to be good and that part of their brain that wants to do stuff is a little more toned down. And I find really good performances when people are filming overnight. Not that I'll be like, it's a daytime scene, but we're filming overnight because that's when everyone's, but no. But like, if it's supposed to be overnight, like I don't shy away from that. I find like, because it's, the little kid in me gets excited because it's like the parents went to sleep and the kids just stayed up overnight and like with a video camera and made this cool thing. And then like the sun comes up and we all scatter like cockroaches and go to sleep. Like, there's something fun about it. I really enjoyed it personally. And that one came out good. Yeah, that was 14 pages, I think, in 12 hours.
And what was that one called?
Cycle. That was at the film festival too. That played at a few.
I've seen pictures of it, but I don't think I've actually seen it.
Yeah, that's fine. It was a good one. I wrote it sitting in a laundromat because I was like, this is a cool spot.
You did one with Rita, didn't you?
Huh?
You did one with Rita?
Yeah, during the pandemic. Yeah, something she wrote called Park Bench, I think it was.
Oh,
okay. We just filmed on a park bench, aptly named. I saw that. She sent it over to me recently. It's crazy. It was like almost 3 years ago, and she just wrapped it up. And I was like, yeah, that sounds like the post-production process.
Well, that's the thing. A lot of these, I remember Adam Driver talking about, there was this stretch when, I mean, it just seems like he was in everything, and he was explaining, he's like, look, I filmed all this stuff like 2-3 years ago.
Yeah.
It just so happens to all be getting released at the same time.
Yeah. You have a little buffer when you watch yourself on film because you're like, that was me 2 years ago. Like that's not me anymore, So I don't know. There's a little buffer zone of like, okay, that didn't work, and that was kind of weird when I did that. But like, I feel like I've learned since then. So like, I've learned to be a little more patient with myself when watching stuff on film. Because generally you're watching something from 2 years ago.
Yeah. Unless
you direct yourself and then you edit yourself. And so
like that's coming out next week.
For the first 2 weeks, you're like, you piece of shit. You're like, you fucking suck at this. You know that? Why would you do that? Just keep your hands at your side. Stop.
So you edit. You do the editing too? Okay.
Yeah, I started that during the pandemic. I wrote a short film. I didn't direct it, but I was in it. And then it was just sitting on a hard drive. I was part of this group that made a short every month. It was one of the greatest groups I was a part of. Just all working professionals. That made mostly their living in like documentaries and commercials but also wanted to write and direct. So they literally formed this little group. They're like, we're all going to give, 1 day a month where we're all going to chip in our really expensive equipment and all of our amazing skills. And we're all going to make a short film. Like we're going to vote on the script at the beginning of the month. And by the end of the month, we're going to make it. And I think they made like 22 of them. Like, it was the best. And I just got into it.
This is during the pandemic?
No, this was before the pandemic kind of shut it down. We were on the roll, but like, I just got cast in a short film, just went on audition, and like when I was on the set, I was like, this set feels a little different. And I was like, so I just started asking the director, I'm like, how do you guys all know each other? And he explained it to me, and I was like, that sounds awesome. And he's like, if you want to join, like there's a little prelim period, but like you're welcome to come and like help out. I was like, absolutely. And man, I learned so much from those professionals freely giving their time and their advice. Like, it was great. It was so fun. But yeah, I started because that one was just sitting on a hard drive, so I started editing it, and unfortunately, I was in it, so you get mad at yourself. But like, I really loved it. It's a little puzzle. Like, it's great.
It is.
And like you were saying, man, you can obsess over this 0.4 of a second transition that no one's gonna see. No one's gonna notice, but they're only not gonna notice because you obsessed about it.
Yeah.
Like if you didn't, they would notice it. But man, when you get it right, you're just like, oh. I would call Megan. I'm like, Megan, come take a look at this. And she's like, yeah, she pulled papers out of her bag. I was like, but you see how seamless that was? Like, I come from this one to that one to this one. Like, that's 3 different shots. And it's just, you never notice. She's like, all right. Yeah.
I got a shout out to Dean Toby, who actually claimed episode 69.
Oh, damn it. What am I?
You are going to be episode 63.
Oh, odd number. That's oof. Not a fan of that. All right. We'll try to get through. Well, 6 is divisible by 3 by 2.
Yeah, that's
We're
true.
Okay.
Yeah, that's cool.
We'll get by.
Yeah.
We'll get by.
But he taught me, he was a mentor to me in film, and he taught me 2 things that I took with me throughout me making films and shooting videos and stuff like that. Was, first of all, 24 frames a second.
Yep.
Next thing he taught me was angles over effects. That right there,
That's pretty good.
angles over effects, because everyone's like, we're gonna do this. It's like, no, man, you're gonna shoot a wide, then I'm gonna shoot a zoom in, then I'm gonna shoot a fade in and out.
Yeah.
I'm gonna shoot that. I'm gonna shoot all this stuff, and maybe I'm not gonna use all of it, but like to our point we're talking about, with that one little switch for a couple seconds is gonna break it up.
Yeah.
And it's going to make it go more smooth. So you're just not looking at it is crazy. It's an art. I mean, it really is an art.
Absolutely. And
What
I'm
you
not
can
good
do.
at effects. My brain doesn't work that way. So it's pretty much, what can we get in the camera, which is fun. And then, hopefully once we all get more money and we're able to make bigger stuff, maybe our brains will change to that. But like right now, I know my capabilities, and it's like, all right, I got to get it in the frame, because I'm not changing it in post. Someone more talented than me can, which that's everyone I work with. Just hire people way more talented than you.
Yeah, that's the key.
And then put your name on it. Everyone I get on my film sets is so much better than me. I'm blown away. I'm like, Jesus Christ, these people know what they're doing, But, and you just let talented people be talented. Just let talented people, from casting to the gaffer to the sound, just
Let them do what they're great at.
Man, they're good at it. And, someone told me before I was going to direct my first thing, he goes, I don't know why he emailed me, I forget, but he's like, directing is essentially saying, on the day, is essentially saying yes and no. Like, that's it. People have questions. You just got to say yes or no. And it's like, there's a lot more to it leading up to
I
that.
get what you're saying,
like, I mean, sometimes
There's a lot of decisions that need to be made.
there's a lot of decisions. You gotta kind of stick with your guns.
Yeah.
It is your movie at the end of the day, and are all the decisions gonna be right? No, but also best idea wins. So my DP's got a way better idea than me. His idea.
Yeah, no, you got to be open. You got to be open to different ideas, and
But doesn't that also come from planning everything? It's the same with acting, right? The only way you can be open on stage is if you know your shit so well that like nothing is gonna throw you, right? So like if you do all the pre-planning, for directing and everything like that, and then you're open to go, yeah, but that shot's way better than what I planned. So like, we don't need this because I'll have this, but it like, man, there are some talented people out there that can go in and just block a scene in their mind and they shoot it and it looks great. I'm not one of those people. I need to plan it, see what it's gonna look like, and then I'm open to whatever is gonna happen.
Yeah.
But like, I'm not good enough to just go into a room and be like, all right, how we shooting this? Like, nope, I already have pretty much an idea of how we're gonna shoot this, and I'll explain it, and hopefully from that it will build. But you're not starting from nothing.
Yeah, you got to have the vision.
Yeah.
And then you come to the very talented director, cinematographer, DP, or whoever, and say, "This is what." Shout out to Kelly Schwartz in Las Vegas because I would have a vision for something, but I mean he's just light years beyond what I could ever even do with a camera. But he goes, Kelly will he's been on this podcast. He'll like sit back, he'll understand everything. He'll be like, all right, so here's how we're gonna do it. And I'm like, all right, just do it.
Yeah,
we're gonna do whatever you. I let out the vision of what I think, but then you tell me the practicality.
Yes, absolutely.
And reality,
absolutely,
how we can try to do that.
Yeah,
but
that's a good DP.
Actually, do it.
That's a good DP. Yeah, I did 4 or 5 with the same DP. He lives in Atlanta now, but he's the best. And that's the way we worked. He was actually the second AC on Meeting Across the Hills. And I was like, man, this guy's talented. And then when it came for me to direct my first one, I texted him. I was like, hey, do you DP? And he's like, that's mostly what I do. I was like, would you want to do it? Man, we just had, I kind of let him know. I was like, I'll come up with this, but I can have it in my mind, but I don't know how to light it. I don't know how to make it look that way. So like, I let him know, and we've have a good, pretty shorthand at this point, but then he makes it look as good as it's going to look. And I went, you deal with the gaffers, you deal with the lighting, you deal with the grip. I'm going to deal with the actors. I don't know. I'm good at lenses. I'm good at angles and everything, but man, don't start talking to me about what stop we're at. I'm just not that good. I'm not that good at it yet. I don't know all that stuff. I didn't go to film school or anything. I just learned by asking a lot of questions. And he's like, yeah, man, that's my job. You don't have to worry about that. I was like, you're the best. You're the best.
Well, shout out to Eric Sarich right here because, I was one-man banding this podcast. And I'm one of those where I know enough to put something together.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Yeah.
But, at the end of the day...
It's not going to look as good as I want it to.
It's not going to sound as good as...
No.
But, there's times working with Eric here and I'm just like, well, what if we did? And he's like, oh, no, everything's fine. I'm like, what do you mean everything's... And then I see the final product. I'm like, holy shit, just Sam, shut up.
He was right.
He knows what the hell he's doing.
You gotta just let talented people be talented, man.
And it's like, it took me a long time.
Yeah.
To be able to get to that freedom, because
takes some trust.
Yeah, because when you come up with a project, you're like, well, I don't know if we're doing it right. It's like, but you're never even going to be able to do it.
No.
Act in it, host it, whatever you're trying to do. If you're worrying about this, that, and the others, just
you gotta give up some trust. Yeah, especially when you're on a budget and you're trying to shoot 18 pages in a day. It's like, and you're acting in it. I go, I can't watch playback. So I get a AD, who's essentially the director on the day, calling action and cuts, someone I trust to watch the screen and tell me nah, you're gonna want another one. You're gonna want another one. Also, watch my performance, but two, also just be my second mind.
Yeah.
Know exactly what I want because we've worked it all out before and watch that monitor and pretty much be my eyes on that day. Because if I watch playback on everything, we're gonna be there forever.
Wait, no, it's funny because you remind me one time I was on set in Vegas on something and we would do it and he'd be like, all right, we're good, we're moving on. I'm like, you sure you don't need me to do that again? Because I think he's like, no, it's great. Just you're fine.
Trust them.
Just what we're talking about, that trust.
Yep. When you can trust some people, it's great. Man, it makes the job so easy and so fun. Easy and so fun.
Yeah.
Nothing to worry about. Just kids playing make believe. Then it's great.
Well, and then as far as now you were on a TV show, right?
Yeah.
What show was that? I remember seeing it.
That was called Millennials. So I got that. That happened over the pandemic. The first season of it, and then the second season happened. Then it got canceled. But you want to talk about a string of events of small stuff leading to better stuff.
Yeah.
One of the first jobs I got out here, I actually auditioned for it when I was still down in Orange County. It was the sketch comedy show. I had to drive up here, do stand-up comedy in a room, which I don't do. So I just kind of did some characters and stuff like that. And I show up and I am the only white guy there. And I'm like, oh, this is interesting. So not only do I not do stand-up comedy, now I have to do it for a room of black people just staring at me. And they are an honest audience. I can get laughs from white people all day because I get pity laughs. Mm-hmm. White people get pity laughs. You will not get a single pity laugh from a black person. And so they're just standing there watching me. And I think this was in 2017, right after all the Me Too stuff happened. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I go up and my first joke was, if you can even call it a joke, because I'm not a stand-up, but I go, you guys are very lucky I'm here. I recently got called the next Louis C.K., which was a much better compliment a year ago because it had just come out that he did all that stuff. Yeah. And I got a few chuckles and I was like, this is going interesting. But they cast me on this sketch comedy show that, I did 2 sketches in it or something like that. Met this awesome guy, Aaron Grady. We're still friends to this day. But did that, didn't think anything of it. 2 short sketches. I don't know. It eventually came out somewhere. Who knows? Down the line, I do a play. One of the guys in this play was one of the other actors in that sketch comedy show. And apparently he's a producer as well. He goes, hey, I'm working on this show. It's good to see you again. I'm like, yeah, you too. Another year goes by. He sends me a text. He's like, hey, that show I was talking about, it's called Millennials. It got picked up by All Black, I think it was an AMC shoot off. And he's like, I want you to play this character. I'm like, you want me to audition? He's like, no, you can just do it. You're fine. I trust you. I read it. I'm the token white guy in it. And my scene partner is, who's the actor from Corey in the House? And That's So Raven. I'm blanking on his name.
I know his, I don't know his name, but I know.
I'm blanking on his name. Anyway, best scene partner in the world because he grew up on sound stages, right? I mean, he's been on sound stages since he was 5. And, and this was the first time I did a multicam sitcom, which is the best because it combines theater and
you totally
camera.
Are a sitcom guy, man.
Yeah, my God.
You totally
I had never
just
done
hit
it before.
Me the stage and the film. Yeah,
it
that's
was
totally
the best of both worlds. I was like, so we get to do this whole 8-page scene, which you never do on screen, as you know. You're doing 2/8 of a page. A page, whoa, long scene, right?
Yeah.
You're doing 8-page scenes and everything like that. But then you get 2 or 3 takes at it, and you go, this is great. And they were so I find out that the executive producer of that was the executive producer of back in the day, The Martin Show and the Jamie Foxx Show, like these huge shows, right? This guy, Bentley Kyle Evans, who's one of the best sitcom directors I've ever met, because literally we're just a bunch of kids messing around, and he's so patient and just lets everyone do their thing and find it eventually. So I eventually, I got there. I was so nervous. But I had a trailer in the back, but I just stood by the sound stage and watched. I'm like, I need to know what these guys are doing. And I kind of picked up that the first one, they would kind of do a scripted. Second one, they would all go off a little bit. Third one was just, whatever you wanted to throw in. I would just watch these people work. I'm like, okay, I think I'm kind of picking up on the, on what this show is and everything. So first one, do it as scripted. Second one, on the side of my scripts, I had little like alternate jokes on there and everything. And then once the writers found out I was good at coming up with this other stuff, man, they'd come up to me after like each take and be like, what if you say this? And I'm like, I'd read it. I'm like, that's going to get me shot. Like, I can't say that, man. They're like, no, say it. It'll be funny. It'll be funny. And some of them were hilarious. And some of them, man, it is silent. I'm just like, whew, okay.
Was there an audience with
No, it wasn't an audience, but there were so many
during the
camera
pandemic,
people
right?
and crew. So there's probably 25, 30 people watching. So you are getting, so they have the laugh track on it, but it's funny. Now that I listen, I can tell the ones that are getting real laughs, even though the laugh track's on top, you can hear distinct laughs from like the AD, this guy, you started to learn their laughs. And man, when you get that, again, it's screened, but you also kind of get that instant response of essentially an audience of people watching you. And it was so fun. I love doing that. I made some awesome friends doing that. That was went on for 2 seasons. That was one of the best working experiences. And then even like 2 weeks ago, they hit me up again. They have a new show at the same studio. And they're like, hey, it's just a day player, but do you want to come by and play it? I was like, yeah, absolutely, man. I went in, I was just in one scene, but like, saw my guy Bentley Kyle, and he walks me up to the other 2 actors in it, very talented, accomplished actors, and he's like, don't go easy on him. He can play. And I was like, all right, this will be fun. And, we do the first one, and it's fun and everything, and then the second one, he comes up to me, he's like, just do it. Just do what you want to do. I'm like, okay, and I have all my alternate stuff on there and everything. I come out, man, is the most loose. Like, no wonder he's this highly successful, talented director and producer, because it is so fun to work with him. Such a free environment. Never feel like I screwed up, even when I face planted. Never felt guilty about trying something. And it's like, what an incredible, incredible environment to work in. I love doing that, man. That's so fun. I would do that anytime.
And talk about, just having those relationships, like work, because it seems
Amazing.
that people work with people they want to work with and have worked with before and who have proven themselves.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, my first, when I got that first sketch comedy show, I sent it to my agent at the time. I go, hey, I got, it's 2 days. I think I paid like $100 a day or something like that. And I was like, hey, it's 2 days of work. Like, I got that. And they went, turn it down. And when it's not a professional production, you don't need to do that. I went, well, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. It seems no one's knocking on my door to have me come work. I'm gonna do it. Imagine if I listened to them. All that work that followed, wouldn't have done it.
Wow.
Wouldn't have come. It's all because I worked on this sketch comedy show and had fun for 2 days. That like people remember. People remember people they like to work with and have fun and are good at what they do. And sometimes it just takes a long time. Sometimes it never comes to fruition. But then, all of a sudden you get a call and you're like, hey, can you play it? I'm like, yeah, man, that'd be a lot of fun. It'd be so fun. Yeah, it was great. And then one of those guys that was on the show came to Baby Dance because he, we only did comedy together and we were on this show together. And, it's very broad, big comedy.
Yeah.
And then he sees Baby Dance. He sees me.
Oh, gosh.
He's like, God damn.
That was
He's
incredible,
like,
man.
that's a little different. I was like, yeah, it's a little different. He's like, no, it was good, but like, God damn, the fun to do both and, find joy in both of them. Absolutely. Yeah, but it's so nice of him to come along. So nice of anyone like you always coming to shows. It's so nice.
Yeah.
No one has to do anything. And like the
Yeah.
fact that people show up, I'm always like, that's crazy. It's insane that anyone shows up to any of this. Like,
Yeah.
it's baffling. So always thank you for coming. It
Oh,
means
of course,
a lot.
man. And
Always.
it's just for me, like, to have been in it, then to have been out of it, then trying to dipping my toe back in it. It's like after you go out into the quote unquote real world, like you talk about working that one job.
Yeah.
And to me, it's not even about whether we're working a job or it's like when you're away from the art.
Yeah.
You gotta go, and that's what I love about going to being around the Playhouse West shows and everything. Everything just even for the audience member, everything goes away.
Yeah.
Your phone's off. Whatever you're thinking about or worrying
nice.
about will be dealt with when you walk outside the studio.
Yep.
And you are just with these people on the stage, living out this moment. Baby Dance, man, that was one of the most profound.
It's a well-written show.
It's a well-written show, and you all executed it so well.
Thank you. Yeah.
It was like those moments though, like to have I saw Permafrost.
Yeah.
That one was great, and then everything at the One Acts, and then Ford and Eric and Some Men Need Help. There's just and I'll keep going because it's just I'm a fan.
Yeah,
I'm a fan of it. I'm honestly just a fan of the culture, I guess, of art and theater. And
I like people. I like watching people do what they're meant to do. That always gives me joy. I find, you don't see it all the time out here. You don't, not even on, TV, not even on stage. Sometimes you see it and you're like, right, I don't know. It's something I feel. And again, we're getting wishy-washy, but it's like someone can be good at it. And that's great. You're watching someone do a good show, right? But like, I've mostly gone it, on stage a lot, and then, Broadway, especially when you see someone like, I don't even like musicals, but like, I'll go see them. And like, when you see someone doing you go, that person's supposed to be doing that.
Yes.
Like, God, it makes you happy. Like, I don't even have to like the production, but I'm like, oh man, I love watching that person do that because that's what they're supposed to do.
well, it takes courage, right? I mean, it took courage for you to follow, and your parents gave you that nod, like, hey, if you
I tried to do other stuff. I wasn't happy. It's not to discourage anyone, but it's like if you can do anything else and be happy, do it.
Yeah.
Why not? It's but a lot of people come out. It's like, oh no, it was my dream to do this. I don't want to feel like a quitter. It's like you're not. If something else makes you really, man, I wish I could be an accountant.
Yeah.
My mom's an accountant. My dad's an engineer. My little brother's graduating from college, going to go be an accountant. I wish I could be happy being an accountant. I hate when people job shame people like, oh, he's got a boring adult job. He's like, maybe he fucking loves it.
Yeah.
What if he loves having a stable 9-to-5 and having a family and be like, who are you to judge that it's a boring job? If that person loves it, great. I wish that could give me joy and happiness. I really do, but it doesn't. It doesn't. Learned it, doesn't, tried it. Oh well. What are you gonna do?
That's awareness right there, man. That's knowing know thyself.
I also got fortunate to try it and learn at a young age that that's not what's gonna do it. And I know I love acting for sure. I love filmmaking and directing and stuff in that vein. And it's like maybe something will come along one day where I'm like, oh shit, I really love that too. And it's like
that's a very good point. You never know. We may discover something like screw all this.
Exactly. Screw it, man. That sounds absolutely
who wants my
amazing.
equipment? It's like
yeah. Well, even you. I mean, finding out how much I'm sure I can tell you love doing this, and it's like so dedicate time to it.
And Playhouse was the springboard.
Exactly.
And
it's like, was there any? I'm legitimately. Was there any guiltiness feeling of like I'm gonna stop doing Playhouse and focus more on this? Or
no, because this just feels right. This feels like what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
Christopher Levy's podcast is coming out. He was just on.
Yeah.
He was
the best.
Oh,
he's the most motivational person
dude
ever.
You want to talk about like I knew it was going to be inspirational.
No, it's
from the jump. It was like boom, like right up there. But like he was saying, like he just talked a lot about purpose.
Yeah,
and knowing what your values are. You know your values. You know what is important to you.
Yeah.
What's important to you is not important to someone else, and vice versa. And I was telling my girlfriend because I've taken her to several Playhouse West shows, and she's really getting an inside look of because when we got together, this is during COVID. I had a leg injury, so I wasn't actively doing anything really. But now that things are opened up and I'm getting more involved again, she's like, wow, there's takes up a lot of time.
Yeah.
And I told her, and I said, that's why you got to go to the shows. Because, and I remember Wolf said something when I was in beginner, he kept telling us to go to the shows because when you're in advanced and doing shows, you're going to want people in the audience.
Yeah.
And you damn well do.
You're going to want people to go to yours.
You know, Eric knows here, like, I have a taste of it, like how much work goes into just doing even a scene night.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like how much work you put into that, let alone a full-length production.
Yeah.
So you gotta go and support that. I think,
you also, to
know,
do it,
if
you
you're
have
a supporter
to,
of the arts.
you have to like doing it. Like I
Right.
never get when people grumble about, it's one of my pet peeves when people are like, oh man, you know, I got to do this tomorrow. I got to do that. You know, well, what are you doing? Oh, I have to rehearse with this person. Then I'm shooting this at night. I go, that all sounds like good stuff. Why are you complaining about it? It's like, if you really, or yeah, oh man, we rehearse. I get it. People get exhausted, but like, when your day's filled up with what you should be excited to go from thing to thing and be, you know, if you really love doing this, it's like, yeah, I get to rehearse this one thing, then I'm going to rehearse this other thing. It's two completely different things. I get it. Everyone gets exhausted and we got to deal with stuff. But like, when I hear like, oh, I have to do this, or you're putting on a show, and it's like, we have to have rehearsal, you know, I got to go to rehearsal. It's like, I get not every day you're feeling it, but something Chris said when he subbed our class is like, if you're not excited to work on a scene, you're working on the wrong scene.
Yeah.
You know, like,
I remember he said that once. Yeah.
Man, he subbed our class. Me and Mia did.
Recently?
Yeah, this was last Monday. I think he subbed it. Me and Mia went first, and we did a scene from Really, Really, you know, because we're working on the play. And we do it, and we just sit down. He asked something. He's like, so how's it going professionally? I was like, I don't like to talk about it too much. It feels braggadocious, it's not my thing. But, you know, I say, just, you know, wrap this thing. And just very offhandedly, I was like, it's kind of, you know, besides that, it's kind of slow. And this just, I'm not kidding, man, 40 minutes, I think. And like, don't get me wrong, the most inspirational, aspirational, amazing talk I've ever heard, and you can feel it, and it makes you feel great. But me and Mia are sitting just on stage during this whole thing, and it's 40 minutes, and all I'm thinking is like, there's people in the back preparing, and they're probably like, when the fuck is this gonna be over? Like, I'm getting all revved up for this scene, and like, it just keeps going. But it was the greatest gift from like any teacher, because like me and Mia both walked off. We were just like you would have to pay thousands of dollars to hear a speaker say that. Like, we just got that shit for free. It was amazing.
That's why I wanted him to come on so bad.
Oh,
it's
dude.
Like, even if you're not an actor, like the wisdom he
Well, he's very much the same thing. It's like, find your purpose. It's not like you have to do that. Don't, you know, find your purpose in this thing because that's what you want to do. It's like, no, you got to find it yourself. Man, he's the best.
I have to tell this real quick. I wish I would have remembered this when he was on, but one time I had been struggling with the doors and activities, but I finally was starting to turn a corner a little bit.
Yeah.
I came up with, it was a really good door and activity, so I thought.
All right.
And I explained my activity or my door to him, and I really crafted, because the doors to me were harder.
Yeah, doors are hard.
Doors are harder because I have to come up with something, and I can't occupy myself with something else. And he asked me what it was, and he's just sitting back the whole, just let me talk, and he goes, "That's actually one of the best doors I've ever heard." But then I'm like, okay, but he's like. Then he like put his hand on. He's like, but there's one problem. He's like, you didn't believe it. And the thing is, he was right.
Yeah. So crafted this whole thing you couldn't get your mind around. Yeah. Sometimes it's simple shit, man.
But like, there's so many things, just life. The thing about acting class and everything is like, this stuff I take with me in my everyday life, in my pharmaceutical job I do, and like everything, man. Like, it's all perspective, it's all interaction, it's all moment to moment. People, and like you're saying, people are saying I have to. It's like, no, you get to.
Yeah.
You get to.
I got to go to class at 9 today. You know, I didn't have to. No one's making you go. If you don't want to go, don't go. If you don't want to take that job, don't take the job. Like, I can tell the auditions I don't want to work on because I'll get it on a Monday. It's due on a Friday.
Yeah.
And it's Thursday, and I'm like, I haven't learned these 4 pages. Like, clearly I don't want to do it because I can get an 8-page, 10-page audition due at noon tomorrow. I will be ready to do that shit tonight.
Yeah.
Because you'll want to do it. Like, if you want to do, there's that indescribable where you're like, no, I'm gonna do it at any cost, you know? So, like, yeah, even 9 a.m. on a Monday, oh, you have to go to class. It's like, even when I was filming the movie and our call times were at 1, I would go to class in the morning. That's not me being like, look how much I'm doing. It's like, no, I was working on stuff I really wanted to work on.
This is what you do.
Yeah, I was doing scenes, or we were working on plays, or the one acts or something. It's like, no, I wanna rehearse those, and what a fucking gift I get to go later and then go act on screen. Like,
You're a professional actor.
like that was it was a fun month and a half or 2 months of being a working. It was great. And it's like, it's not braggadocious. It's like, look what it's like. No, look what I get. Like, I get to do this. It's fucking. I'm not looking for pity. Like, oh wow, you're really working hard.
Your
like,
life's tough, man.
You need a vacation. Don't you? I was like, no, I would fill my days up with that any day. Like, it's great.
Well, I don't know if this is the project. You were in a Lifetime movie, right?
Yeah, that was so fun.
So what was
man.
that all about? I never talked to you about that.
Yeah, that was filmed in Boston in August. So hot. So if I'm glistening.
Feature film?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, feature film, and that was just I auditioned for 2 murder mysteries on the same day, and oddest thing, I'm not big into this is just my Catholic school upbringing and having an engineer dad and accounting mom. I'm not big into like projection or like visualization, but like for whatever reason, I did these 2, maybe a few other auditions. I just had this feeling something cool was gonna happen. I'm like, I don't know what it is, but like something cool is gonna happen. And I went to class on that Monday, and like I had a great scene, a great exercise. Like I felt so good at it, and I legitimately went, maybe that was it. Maybe that was the cool thing, because like that was fucking cool. Maybe that was it, and if that was, great, awesome. I got an email later that day, like, hey, we want to cast you in this movie.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, maybe that's the thing. Like that was cool too. Don't get me wrong. And filmed in Boston for 12 days, I think. So they flew me out there. We were by Gillette Stadium down near Foxborough, but oh man, it was so cool. It was just in this one house, and like the most fun, getting to know people over a 12-day period, and just how loose everyone gets, the more comfortable you get. And everyone, first day, everyone's on their best behavior, oh, everything's good, By the start of the second week, the AD is doing the walkthrough with like a black and mild in his mouth. Like, all right, so we're going to shoot in here. Everything just like...
Because now we got a job to do. We got to finish this film.
I'm not going outside and smoking this. Like, whatever. We're hazing it anyway. Like, I'll just help out,
That's hilarious.
But it's just a great, and one of the best, David Benulu, one of the best directors I've worked, understood story. I was able to I would hang out by the monitor and ask him questions. And like, I was like, hey, if I'm bothering you, like, let me know. He's like, no, I like talking. Typically when people love what they're doing, they'll talk about it, as much as you want, So like he would talk to me all the time about it. We'd talk about theater, and like, it was just great. It was absolutely awesome to do. Naturally, I play someone who presents well and then is hiding something evil. That's generally what I get because of my face and my eyes. Who knows? But yeah, that came out like, I don't know, a month and a half ago or something like that on Lifetime. And I wasn't going to watch it because I had such a good time doing it that I didn't want to ruin the memory of it. Because in my head, it was so fun, man. It's just, my girlfriend's going to hate that I say that. But man, for 2-3 weeks, I had no responsibilities. I would go film 12 hours a day. A lot of it was overnight too. I'd go back to my hotel room. I'd fall asleep in this big, king bed. And not that it was a nice hotel, but there was a Dunkin' right next door. Like, It was fucking awesome. On my days off, I'd wake up and watch the Mets game. Like, one Saturday, I'd
go get some Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah, it was a Mets doubleheader. Like, I went out, I got my Dunkin', I was sitting in my bed watching a Mets doubleheader. The other weekend, I went to Fenway and watched the Yankees play the Red Sox in Fenway. I was like,
so you're a big baseball fan.
Love baseball. Love it. Absolutely love it. And like, it was great. It was so fun. I absolutely loved the shoot. While I was there, I got someone, it's just the way it goes. Someone I worked with, an AD I worked with on this Western show. She was shooting her first feature in Iowa and just, emailed me and was like, can you play this part in the movie? Again, just whatever the job is. Just
acting leads to acting.
Be good at it.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what kind of project you see. You just don't know who's watching, right? And it's like, they don't all come into fruition, but like when they do, it feels really good. Because like, I barely remember her, but clearly whatever I did sparked something in her that was like, I think he would be good to work with again. And I'm like, awesome, thank you. But yeah, I wasn't going to watch it, but then my girlfriend convinced me because, my parents, because finally I'm in something that they can watch. I tell them not to watch most stuff I'm in, especially features. I think I've been in a lot of low budget, not well done features, as anyone starting out in this business will be. And my mom finds out they're on Amazon Prime, and she's like, "Of course we're gonna." I was like, don't watch Dead by Dawn. Don't do it. You're not gonna like it, you know. But this one, they very much enjoyed, and my girlfriend.
That was on TV, right?
Lifetime, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, aired on Lifetime, and then it was.
I mean, dude, like, feature film on TV.
Yeah.
Like, what? You're here. Like,
yeah, it was.
You've arrived.
It sounds a lot cooler than it is, right? Because the life of where I did that. I went right back to my job at the Hollywood Bowl because you know what? It didn't change my life. It came out, it was great responses, but and then I did the movie in Iowa. It's awesome. It's like the life of a working actor is, man, you gotta do anything. If you can love anything else, do it because it's certainly a grind. But yeah, I watched it and it was fun and everything like that. And then just, again, I did that one. That was by this company, Don's Light Media. They make a lot of TV and Lifetime movies. January rolls around, they're making a Christmas movie. I auditioned for them again. They give me the role in this Christmas movie. And
look at that.
And the lead in it is the same girl that was the lead in the movie in Boston. And it's like, so, you do good work and people like working with you. And it's like, I'm not saying I'm doing the greatest work, but like, they were like, oh yeah, bring him. Now he'll play he played the killer in that movie. He'll play the douchebag in this Christmas movie. Bring him on back. Like
we like Bobby.
This will be great. He comes off as an asshole, but like he's nice, but like he looks like a dick. So bring him on back. He'll break up with her before Christmas. Come back, say it was a mistake.
There's a Dunkin' right next to you.
Yeah, man. It's just you just never know. And when stuff like that happens, that feels it feels great always to get cast in something and someone to put their faith in you. But when something comes back around, right, and like someone just saw you do something, like let's do this again. Like that feels so nice.
Well, I really enjoy like the vein of this podcast because I feel like you've showcased, first of all, the work it takes to be doing what you're doing, but second of all, because I think, and even myself included, used to think like acting was a separate thing but when you really start to, because when I moved to LA, I'm like, oh, you just come here and you start acting. It's like, no, you got to, first of all, learn how to act, but then second of all, and third and fourth and fifth, you got to get the right headshots. You got to get the agent. You got to know what type it's a business.
So yeah.
And it's like,
a few steps
it's a job. And any industry you are in, it does not matter if it's acting or accounting or whatever it is. People want to work with people they really like or that do a good job. So it's like it's
particularly in this business when you're spending 12 hours with someone. I mean, there's people, even doing plays when you're, especially in here when you're casting your plays. Like, man, I'm spending a lot of time with these people. Okay, who do I want to? I mean, we're not here for that long. Who do I want to dedicate this time with? And yes, a big part of it is can they pull it off, but a big part of it is like, who's going to have a good work ethic and not complain that the rehearsal's going 3 hours? Who's going to want to do this pretty much? I mean, I've fired, what was he? He was, I think he was the second AC off of, he was the first AC because he was pulling focus off of one of my movies because he was, he just came in, he was going to be there for 2 days and he came in, when's lunch? It's hot in here. This, that, the other, okay, when are we moving? It's like, one, it's hot in here for everyone. That's not just you. Like, lunch is going to be when lunch is. Like, aren't you happy to be here and working? Like, and I told my director, I go, he's not coming back tomorrow. He's like, we don't have anyone to pull focus. I don't give a shit. Like, we'll teach Kat to pull focus. Like, she'll learn to pull focus. I would way rather have someone be a little soft than have to deal with that guy for another 12 hours saying, it's hot, he's tired. Like, I don't want to, we're all hot and tired, And I get when people, you go to work and, film set, whatever it is, and something bad happens, something unfortunate happens. You come home, you vent a little bit because it's not what it's supposed to be, or something unfortunate happens. I get that, but once I hear someone, 5 a.m. call time, I go, really? You're gonna fucking complain? Give the job to someone else. Someone else wants to wake up. Trust me, someone else wants to wake up. Like, so if you're gonna, and I do think a lot of it is I get it. People want a pat on the back and go, you're working really hard. Can't believe you're waking up at 5 a.m. Good for you. It's like, I have now this is just my cynicism and the way I have a tough time patting people on the back for doing their job. I do. It's tough for me, and I feel like in this business it is a lot of patting on the back. So when you're like, even I have trouble accepting, it's great, Lifetime and all this, It's my job. That's what I'm supposed to be doing. Yes, it's great. There's been some successes along the way, but in my mind, I just go, yeah, yeah, because I'm an actor. That's what
you do.
It's what I should be doing. You know, I don't know. That's probably not the most courteous and self-caring answer to the question you didn't ask, but
no, but it's an interesting perspective because I think it puts the reality of what you're doing. Like I think a lot of people. And Chris touched on a little bit about this, but really, like a lot of people want the end result of everything.
Yeah.
But no one wants to do the work.
Yeah.
Like people say, and how many people move here every year and like, oh, I'm going to be a famous actor. Do you even like acting?
Right?
So that's the first. Do you even like it? And second of all, are you willing to put in the work?
Or do you just want that? You want that
to be
thing?
famous.
Yeah.
You just want that thing.
And don't get me wrong, financial success and everything is great. Like I said, I worked in an office, and money is not happiness, but money is certainly freedom. Absolutely, money takes away gives you a very free life when you don't have to worry about it.
It definitely does. Yeah.
Very much. I mean, what would you be doing if you didn't have to go, sell a pharmaceutical or whatever you do? What would I be doing?
I'd be doing this all day long.
Exactly. Money is
3 guests a day.
Exactly. 100% freedom, but it is not happiness, right? So that's not all to say like, oh, you got to be this struggling actor all your life, and once you make it, go fuck you because you made it. It's like, no, of course financial success might be an ultimate goal, but like, man, if that's what you're in it for, like it's not gonna
last long.
There's also much faster ways to get it. I'll tell you that much. There's much easier way. Go get an entry-level job somewhere. You'll make more per year than you will in this business.
Well, I think that's what people don't realize too, is they see people on TV or in shows and like, oh, they're big time, and they may be extremely talented actors, but financially it's like, dude, it's rough, man. Like knowing like you can be like in big stuff and still.
Well, it's the same as that Adam Driver thing you're talking about.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, this Lifetime movies, blah blah blah, all this stuff. Oh man, it's like, yeah. Well, I filmed that 9 months ago, and even Holly was talking to me about it. She's like, but didn't you just do 2 things back to back? I go, yeah, but then it's followed by a period of nothingness for a while, which is why plays are great. It always keeps your classes great. It always keeps you working, and it's like. I think if the pandemic taught us anything, right? Like work can't be my source of happiness. If obtaining work in this business is my source of happiness, I'm in trouble. Because that's a crapshoot. I can work as hard as I want, but sometimes someone's got to give you a chance. And it's like, yes, we can make our own stuff, and that's great. But like, if someone giving me a job in this business is my source of happiness, I'm gonna be screwed because that went away during the pandemic, right? And we were left to so like, how happy I am during those downtimes is really a good barometer of how I'm doing. Because of course I'm gonna be happy when I'm flying here and shooting this, and then I gotta shoot here, and then filming for 20 days on this project.
Going to the ballpark, eating Dunkin' Donuts. I don't know why I think
grabbing
that's
my
so
Dunkin', sitting in the bay, Like, of course I'm gonna be happy. No shit, I'm gonna feel fulfilled and like I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. But when those 3 months come around where you're like, whoa. Like, yes, that's why, of course, class is important because it keeps you working. You never feel like you're at a dead stop, but like how stuff's going in that downtime and what my home life is like and everything like that and keeping that good. It's like what I'm like during that is a way better barometer of how I'm doing than when I'm working all the time.
Yeah.
Because I got to get comfortable in that because that's going to be 90% of it. It's going to be. And like, it's, once I got comfortable in that and really started focusing on like, okay, I need to be happy in the downtime. Shit started happening, because you get your house in order. And I also feel like I don't know, all that. Who was Vince, right? Were you in beginning when he would read all those Bukowski quotes at the beginning of class every time? Yeah, Vince Cusimano.
Yeah, he actually was one of my first. You and Vince were 2 of my first rehearsals.
Really? Yeah. Great guy, but man,
awesome.
he'd read those Bukowski quotes every day, and like I remember one day he comes in, he's like, "What?" He came up to me in Austin Spring and was like, "What if the 3 of us got a warehouse to live in?" I was like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, I used to live in one. My buddy lives in one." It's like, you got a bucket, you shower. He wanted like that transient lifestyle. If that works for him, great. But I used to think too when I first moved out here, I needed that kind of artist lifestyle, and I need to, oh, we don't even own a TV. It's like, yeah, all right. Like, I own a TV. I got to watch the Mets. That's the way it's going to happen. But the more structured my home life is, and the more structured I am, like outside of this weird acting shit I do, the way better I am out there. Because also I don't feel like I have to, I don't know, it's this weird thing. I also thought, oh, you gotta be single because then, all these opportunities come your way. I am so much better with my girlfriend who I live with now and I love very much. And she is the luckiest woman in the world. Let me tell you that much. Yeah, she's very lucky. I'm so much better having that at home. And then I can go out and make an ass of myself. I can go on stage and be really free and make an ass of myself because guess that's not going to be the source of my happiness, I'm still going to go home and everything's going to be okay there. I'm not going back to an empty house going, fucking shit, I fucked that up. And that's what was going to give me value today was being good in that show or really nailing that scene. That's what was going to give me value. It's like... No, I get value from other aspects of my life, whether it be being a good partner, writing something. It's like finding value in other places really allowed me to go out and be free and, really take chances then. Because then when I fall on my face, I go, just make believe. All right, back to home, back to real life where stuff is nice and stuff is good. And I don't know, it makes me feel a lot more willing to go screw up. And when I'm willing to screw up and do all that, and it comes out better. It comes out better than playing it safe, typically. Yeah.
That is a clip right there. That was deep, dude. That was deep. No, I think it's good. Yeah, you bring up a good point of having structure because I've battled with that too. It's like, I gotta. I think it's all about balance, right? Like I like crazy artistic things. And
have you heard the sentence that if you're not listening, not saying that you didn't, but it's like if you're ever not listening to someone on the phone, they're just talking, they ask for your opinion, you can always say, I think it's about finding a balance. And they'll always go, yeah, I know, right? And it's the perfect, like if you're not listening, you can always just say, I think it's about finding a balance. They'll be like, yeah, I absolutely agree.
I was definitely listening.
I know you were listening. It's
funny because
it's funny because that's the right response to a lot of stuff, which
it really
is why it always works.
It's just about balance.
Yeah. So
now I'm gonna be in my head whenever I use that.
Anytime I hear it, or anytime even I say it, I'm like, oh no, I was listening, but that's the correct response. But if you're ever not, I don't know, you zone out, you had a long day, it's all about balance. And they'll be like, yes, yes it is.
Well, and I think to your point, like I have fought the like, well, it's either all or nothing.
Right.
And then I went through this period of like, I don't work a job, man. I'm an artist. I'm gonna feel it. Well, guess what? Rent.
Yeah.
And cell phones.
Yeah.
They don't care that you're an artist. And
can't let my landlord know I had a few good auditions, but rent's going to be a little late.
Yeah. So you can have both.
Yeah.
And I think that I'm really glad you said what you said because I think a lot of people will get benefit from that because I think people feel like they have to make a choice.
Right. You got to. I work at this every day. I have a rehearsal or I'm working on a script and because I like to do it, I don't want, and I'm going I'm going back to Jersey for Memorial Day. I'm not going to be doing doors and activities when I'm in Jersey. I'm going to enjoy time with my family. I'm going to enjoy time down the shore. I think that's a bit of the balance you're talking about, right? It's like, I'm going to go, but then like, man, when I'm with that, audition comes out of work. But like, other than that, I'm not going to call someone up and be like, hey, you want to rehearse over the phone? Like, I don't have that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have that. It doesn't need to fill every second. But man, I really, like Chris was talking about, find something you really want to work on. I really love what I'm working on right now. So it's like, yeah, so I'm going to work on it. I want to work on this stuff every day. Like, it's unfortunate when a day goes by and I can't schedule a rehearsal or something, not because I need to feel fulfilled by it, but I want to work on it. It's fun. Yeah. It's fun to work on it. Why wouldn't I want to do something that's fun? And it's like, I think a lot of people do see it as, work, and it is work, but man, we picked a fun thing to work at. Picked a fun fucking thing to work at. I mean, I'm sure you don't dread when people are going to come in to do a podcast.
Honestly, it makes everything worth it.
Yeah.
It makes it all worth it just to get to this moment and sit down in the lights and we're going. And it's like, I totally like, oh yeah, this is why.
Yeah.
This is why we keep pushing.
Which I admire you because I can't stand talking to people. People think I'm very friendly. I was driving with Lisa to a rehearsal and I told her, I was like, I forget what we were talking about, but she was like, and I was like, because I don't like talking to people. And she's like, what? But you seem so friendly. I'm like, yeah, nah. Like, I don't want to meet anyone new. Like, I don't want to talk to people, which is not a great quality to have. And it's a bit of a
I've heard of a lot of other
exaggeration.
celebrities, actors, comedians, like they're kind of that way too. Like, do you see them on stage
Yeah.
and people think they're like that when they see them? And
Yeah,
they're like,
and
totally
I never want to be a dick or anything
Right,
like
right.
that, but I just hate small talk. Like for whatever I can't, and you know those conversations you get in on set all the time, especially in day 1 and day 2. By the end, everyone's comfortable, so no one's you're talking about some stuff, but. Oh, so what have you worked on and everything like this? Like, I don't care. Like, if you want to talk about something of substance, like we are, great. I'll chat with you all day. But like when it's just small talk, I go, I'd rather read my book. I'll read my book, or I'll play Zelda on Switch, like on set. Like
You like Zelda?
Fucking love it.
Dude.
No, I haven't downloaded the new one yet.
Someone just posted. Did you play Ocarina of Time?
Of course. Who didn't? It's my favorite.
2 summers straight, man. That was that was my jam. Like,
that was the absolute.
I'll get emotional if I even start talking about it because it was just magic.
It was like one of the first open world games, right?
Yeah.
I'm not.
Open world, that's the name of it.
Yeah, I'm not a huge gamer. Because I get really obsessive, so I had to I got rid of my Xbox in like 2015, even before I moved up here.
Oh yeah, I had to get rid of all mine. Yeah.
Yep, because I caught the flu and I went out and I bought Skyrim, which is my favorite, and I was like, I'm sick all day, like, but I'm not sleeping, like I just need something to. So video games are great for that. I'm like, all right. And then I wasn't sick anymore, and like I remembered waking up early so I could sit down on the couch at 7 and start playing, and then before I knew it, it was 10 p.m. and I'm like, what the fuck just happened? I just get so obsessive about stuff. Yeah, as I feel like a lot of us do, right? We have a bit of obsessive minds. Once we really want something, we're like, and that can be video games for me. Yeah. So I had to get rid of that and everything. Now I'm a little better balanced by it. But yeah, man, I actually got the Switch when I went out to film that movie in Boston. 1, I'm like, I'm getting a nice paycheck. Let me get something for myself. Yeah. I got a Switch. 2, I go, I'm being in a hotel room by myself, like for a few weeks, you know, like besides filming, I'm just in that.
And Duncan.
Filming in Duncan, you know, I'm just going to be in that hotel room in the off hour, like, and plane rides. I'm like, I need something to do. So I got it. I got Zelda Breath of the Wild. Oh my God. It's fucking awesome. Oh, it was so fun. And the new one just came out on Friday. And I'm going to Colorado this weekend and then Jersey next week and then Germany for a trip in June. So I got a lot of plane rides coming up. So I'm like, I'm going to save the download for those plane rides.
Yeah.
I got like 48 hours of flying in the next 2 months. So I'm like,
you're set.
Zelda's so hard. It's going to be great.
Well, I got the Sonic the Hedgehog here. Sonic is what I grew up on. Yeah.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, so I pick a random thing to go, but it's...
See, I wasn't a PlayStation guy. We had Xbox, and Sonic, if I remember, was mostly on PlayStation, if I remember
Sega
correctly.
originally.
Well, Sega originally, yeah.
And then it went to PlayStation.
Yeah, there was someone on 64, but then I think it moved to, because I came in...
And Mario was like 64. Well,
Mario
Nintendo.
64, and then GameCube and everything that. Yeah, no, I came in... N64, I think, was my first... console, as in, you know, you got blowing it. Everyone faced the east and flipped it 5 times and all that stuff. Yeah, but then we were GameCube and Xbox people, so I missed Sonic a little bit, but you know, you play with him in Super Smash Bros.
I'm sure he's gonna be on the Switch somewhere.
I hope so, man. And it's great to turn your brain off and just play something sometimes.
Yeah,
right.
Kind of reset.
Sometimes you need. That's why I like watching baseball. I love watching the Mets. Like turn your brain. I love watching Survivor. It's like, just turn your brain off and watch. I know I'm supposed to be watching, like, Succession and stuff like that. And, like, great shows. Amazing shows. Man, sometimes you just need some dumb shit
just
to
need
watch.
to veg out.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's healthy.
My gosh. Man, well, Bobby, this was so
Did
much
I stay
fun,
too
man.
long?
No.
This was extended.
This is
starting
good.
to schwitz.
No, is this probably the most you've ever talked in one sitting, like conversation-wise?
You got it out of. You're fun to talk to.
No,
man.
dude, you were great. And it was one of those things where on this podcast, like, we could go for free. You could just keep going.
Sure, yeah.
And one day I hope to be at that point where it's like Joe Rogan style.
Yeah.
Where, all right, we're gonna go for 4 hours. You know.
Well, because we're also talking about what we love, right?
Yeah.
So like,
time goes by like that.
You want to talk about something I love. Of course, I'm going to get passionate and keep on talking about it. You know. That's just.
Well, you're very phenomenal at what you do. So it's been a treat just to listen to you take me through it all.
Oh,
Because you know what I mean. You see,
I'm not that great at explaining it, so I hope you guys saw
No,
that.
you did great. When I always give the guest the last word before I give the last word.
Yeah.
What's next for you? What do you got in the works artistically?
So we got Really Really, which is a play that will open up in July. We're fairly certain. Another thing, come back around. I did the short last year. I have a call. That director emailed me like last week and was like, "Hey, I wrote a feature and I want to, so having a phone call with that tomorrow. So not to, we'll knock on some wood. We'll see how that goes. Other than that, it's back to. I had a really fun first half of the year. You hope to keep that momentum going.
Yeah.
If it doesn't, I'll be in class. I'll be working on plays, and you hope you keep the momentum going, but.
You got your home life. You got
What are
your
you
structure.
gonna do?
Yeah.
What are you gonna do if it doesn't happen? Just go to Duncan and we'll watch
Duncan.
the Mets, and I'll still be happy.
Who knows? Maybe Duncan will contact us and they'll become a sponsor of the show.
Oh my God.
We'll be sitting here with two Duncans.
So every once in a while, contractually lift it up and take a sip.
Yeah. You're wearing like a Duncan hat. And
I'll go get my Duncan t-shirt, man. I'll be all decked out.
I love the Echo Park shirt you wore too.
Yes,
That's pretty
absolutely. I moved there during the pandemic, and
so you're in Echo Park now.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, I like walking to places. And
you
everything.
can definitely do that.
Yeah,
there. Definitely an artist haven over there, man. Like it's a very
cool.
artistic vibe.
It's cool, except Megan keeps on begging me to go on the swans that ride around there.
Oh
on the lake. And
yeah.
At this point, it's become a stubborn, stupid stand of mine where I'm like, I'm not going on the fucking swans. I fucking hate those swans. She's like, I just want to. It's romantic. I'm like,
gosh.
So I'll have to take her on the swans.
Sometimes we gotta just bite the bullet.
Sometimes you gotta bite the bullet, man. Yep. Yeah, she's gone to plenty of Mets games with me, so I think I gotta bite the bullet
Give
and
take.
Go on some swans.
And if people want to follow you, where is the most appropriate place for them to go?
I think Instagram would be. I took it off my phone, but I still have my account because I realized every time I closed it, I was angrier than when I opened it.
Good for you.
Yeah. So I'll still go on to, shows coming out, the movies coming out. I want to promote good stuff, and I want to, even you reached out to me on there. So like I'll log on every once in a while.
Just check messages.
Check messages, and then I close it. But I realized, I think it's such a toxic thing, and I fell into it for a long time, and it's angry every time I closed it. Then when I opened it, I went, I'm gonna try it, but man, it's addictive. I don't fault anyone for being on it. It's goddamn addictive.
It is. But, it's designed that way.
That's one thing if people are struggling that I recommend is like you can keep your account, you can log on the computer, and it's fine. But like, man, taking that app off your phone because it's just knee jerk, right? You just go and you press it.
Yeah.
Anyway, Bobby Slaski, I think is the thing. is the thing on there.
Just type Bobby Slaski and it'll pop up. On that.
It'll come up. But I probably won't respond quickly, but that's okay. That's okay.
And I always give the guests the last word. You can leave us with whatever you want. It can be philosophical. It can be funny. It could be anything. It could be about Zelda. It could be about Duncan.
Yeah.
What is your favorite donut at Duncan?
I don't really get the donuts to keep my girlish figure. If I did, I would get my dog loves the glazed munchkins. So I'll get him those. I'll get one jelly for myself. I get a small iced coffee, 2 pumps of hazelnut, 2 pumps of skim milk. I get the skim milk because a lot of times they fuck it up and they put regular milk in. But if I say regular milk, they'll put creamer in. You gotta learn to work the systems. you learn how to work your Dunkins. Last word. Let's fucking go Mets. They're terrible right now, but this has been. It's crazy that the three of us are in here. We met, 5 years ago at this point.
Over 5 years ago.
That doesn't happen a lot, man.
No.
Doesn't happen a lot. So
who would have predicted we'd be doing this shit? Like I don't.
Yeah, exactly. It wasn't on the radar. I don't have too many last words. Everyone do what they love and don't be a dick to other people. I think is a good way to sum it up.
Awesome, Bobby. I'm predicting this right now. Duncan's gonna cast you to be in a commercial.
I would hope so. Ben Affleck.
Yeah, Affleck's in it, isn't he?
Yeah.
You're totally gonna get.
Also,
casted.
if we can change the episode from 60, just bump me like one up or one down. 63 is gonna bug me so bad. I got a weird thing with even numbers, man.
All right, my friend. Thanks for coming on. Hey everyone, thanks for checking out the Sam Dever podcast. Be sure to follow us on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts. And if you watch the podcast, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/@the Sam Dever podcast.